Hello, my name is David Mitchell, and I'll be presenting Milestone 1 of my Unity game Cloak and Scepter. First, I'll briefly introduce the project and outline some of the technology that underlies it, and then I'll demonstrate the game running live on the Unity client while demonstrating each milestone's test to fail, test to pass, and showing some of the code that relates to each milestone. So first, Cloak and Scepter is a Unity game where all of the NPCs are totally AI controlled. Every word in action is generated on the fly by large language models. It's accomplished using an underlying framework that I've been working on since May that I'm currently calling the AI Agent Framework, but will definitely want to rename. And it's a generalized framework that's meant to be an underlying technology that you can build different types of games on top of. And Cloak and Scepter is essentially a demonstration of the AI Agent Framework. There's a lot of challenges in just getting it to the point where it's functional, and that includes ensuring that the characters can perceive their environment, that they can act within their environment, that they're not particularly prone to hallucinations breaking the game or breaking any kind of functionality. They have to be able to interact with one another, and there's a lot of complications related to that as well. So this is what the AI Agent Framework attempts to solve. And so we can start to look into the game here. As you can see, this is the title screen, and it's communicating with an Azure server. So one of the initial milestones is account login. So we'll demonstrate first test to fail, and I can just enter an incorrect username here, and it's contacting the Azure server, validating, and it's returning invalid credentials. I should also note it is fully responsive, so it'll look good in any aspect ratio. And the intention is to make this a WebGL game so that it could potentially be run in a browser. So continuing, we can now do test to pass. So I'll correct the username here. And log in. And there we go. So it logged in successfully. And I'll just briefly show some of the code here. So this is the endpoint, the login endpoint here. And so that's an example of some of the code for this particular feature. So we'll continue on. I'll click New Game. Currently, difficulty doesn't make any difference, but how the agents work, there's a very complex system that creates their prompt, and they have certain data that's associated with them called statuses. What I can do is I can add information for statuses, for instance, personality : naive. And so you can effectively alter their behavior just by changing certain information that's included in the prompt, and that's going to be one of the major ways that difficulty is adjusted, just by more or less telling the LLM that they're naive and trusting. To get into the overall goal of the game, the purpose of the game is that you are like a member of the royal family who has been thrown out from your kingdom at a young age. You've come back after you found out that you're the rightful king, and you've more or less infiltrated into the castle. And your job is to build alliances and build a network in order to overthrow the current king in the game. This will be quite difficult because if he finds out you're doing this, you'll get arrested or killed. And all of the agent and character behavior is totally AI controlled, so there's very little hard coding in terms of gameplay mechanics. It's dynamic. So if you can find a way to game the system to take over, it'll be fine. The challenge is that you have to hold on to the crown for a set amount of time to win. If you can physically walk in and kill the king, but he has guards there who are loyal to him, who will react like guards would, and they would kill you. So you have to make friends with the guards, you have to build alliances and networks in order to make your coup possible. That's the purpose of the game. So I'm going to enter the player name here. I'll just say player. And include I can include a brief biography here. This is for Milestone. The capstone project. Say hi to Prof. Adams. And I don't know if this is going to work. Hopefully the tutorial character who helps guide you to play the game will see this and he'll say hi back. I don't know for sure if that'll happen. Unpredictability is part of the game. Could note that all of the assets are AI generated, so all of these background videos, all of the models, all of the music, everything is AI generated. So here we are. I was originally going to do 2D pixel art, but I realized that 3D was actually just as easy. So let's see what Willie has to say here. He tries to make jokes. He tries to keep it light and humorous. I'm not very focused on him right now, though. So we demonstrated account login. Next up is basic movement. There are two ways to move in the game. One is by clicking, and your character will navigate to wherever you click. And the other is via pressing WASD. And oh yeah, as you can see, there's also an obstruction highlighter there if you get behind something. So you can see here WASD is working. I can go in different directions here. And so that's test to pass. The character is successfully navigating the environment, and both click to move and WASD navigation work. Test to fail might be trying to navigate to somewhere that is impossible, that one shouldn't be able to navigate to. For instance, I can't walk past there, and I'll try clicking the wall here in order to demonstrate that that is not possible. The character won't even try to navigate there. So that is an example of basic navigation working. And I'll actually continue on for a little bit just to demonstrate that it doesn't just work in this room. There's about 20 or so rooms that are all connected. And these all make up the play space. And these are where all the different characters will navigate through. So we'll go back here and enter. So I'll briefly show the code for this. So here's the code for the player agent controller. And here's some of the basic code that's used to detect the keystrokes and create the forces that move the character around, which ultimately just affect the nav mesh character. So that is test to pass, test to fail, and some of the code for character navigation. Finally, we have the inventory system. So to demonstrate this, I am going to click on this little candle here. This opens up the agent object menu, which is a generic menu that exists for all characters and objects, because everything in the agent framework is an agent object. This enables a pretty unified way of dealing with things in the environment. So I'll pick it up. And so it's now in the character's inventory. I'll bring up their inventory here. And as you can see, it's the same menu for a character. Some little UI things I'll need to sort out here. For instance, the text here. But here we have that dark candle holder. I can equip it and choose which slot to equip it in. I'll equip it in my right hand. And you can see he's now carrying around a giant candle. Go back to the inventory, select the right candle holder, and I will unequip it, and it is unequipped. And then I can also just go back to the inventory, select it, and drop it. And that'll drop it on the ground. So basic inventory functions, and it also functions for agents as well. The player has a graphical user interface. The text agents control basic UI functionality through text interfaces, obviously, through a basic turn-based interaction system that also guides character-to-character interactions and player-to-character interactions. So I'll briefly show the code for that. So here's the code for pick up item. You can see this here. So this is a very brief introduction to the AI agent framework, the demonstration of it, which is this game, and some of the very basic functionalities, including locomotion and inventory management, as well as basic account authentication and login. I'm going to stop it here and demonstrate that the NPC placeholders have also been included. Okay, and as we can see here, there are a number of NPC placeholders, which was the final part of Milestone 1. These aren't just placeholders, they have a whole bunch of seeded memories that start a whole drama about a treason that unfolds when you first walk into this room. And so there'll be a large drama that you become a part of immediately, and then the game begins. So this has been a demonstration of Cloak and Scepter. It's a Unity game built on the AI agent framework. My name is David Mitchell, and thank you for listening.